It was late evening when she dropped the bomb. We had just finished dinner, the kind we rarely bothered with anymore. Takeout from the corner place, candles half melted from birthdays past, silence thick between us. I had been feeling the tension for weeks, even months. Small things. The way she laughed at her phone, the late nights, working, the subtle avoidance when I asked too many questions. And then she said it, as if reading my thoughts aloud. I want a divorce. I blinked. Waited. Let the words hang in the air like smoke. My first instinct was to be angry, to yell, to ask why, to demand explanations, to beg her to stay. I could have done all of that. But instead, I smiled. That sounds good, I said quietly, almost too calm. She froze. Mid-bite of her salad, fork suspended in air. Her eyes narrowed, disbelief spreading across her face. You're smiling? After everything I've said? I nodded. Yes, I'm smiling because I've been waiting for honesty, I've been waiting for clarity, and now I have it. Her expression shifted quickly, from shock to guilt, then a flash of anger. So, you're happy I want to leave? I'm happy that the pretense is over, I said. I'm happy that I no longer have to pretend everything's fine. I'm happy I can finally focus on myself without walking on eggshells every day. She stared at me like I had grown a second head. You don't care that I've been cheating? I leaned back in my chair, calmly. I care that we've both been living a lie. I care that the trust we built over years has been broken. I care that this hurts. But no, I don't care about the shame of the affair itself, because your choices are your own. I've come to realize they don't define me anymore. She dropped her fork. The sound was louder than anything she could have said. Silence stretched between us, loaded with years of resentment, unspoken arguments, and tiny betrayals that had accumulated over time. You've changed, she whispered. I smiled again, this time softer, almost sad. I had to, or I'd have lost myself entirely. I stayed too long in a marriage where I wasn't seen, where my feelings didn't matter, where your choices defined our life. I don't regret loving you, but I do regret waiting until the end to value myself. She shook her head, tears forming at the corner of her eyes. I thought you'd beg. I thought you'd fight. Not this time, I said. I've fought enough. I've begged enough. And I've carried the weight of your decisions long enough. I can't keep losing myself in someone else's mistakes. Over the next few days, the reality set in. She tried to manipulate, tried to guilt me, tried to remind me of everything I had done for her, all the sacrifices I had made. I listened, calmly, without getting defensive, without getting angry. Her words bounced off me. I realized then that the most powerful response to betrayal wasn't confrontation. It was serenity, clarity, and distance. When the divorce papers were finally signed, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not triumphant, just free. Free from lies, free from manipulation, free from the constant worry that the person I loved didn't feel the same way about me. It wasn't easy, of course. Some nights I lay awake thinking about the life I thought we had, about the moments of tenderness that were genuine, about the laughter, about the dreams we shared. But each time, I reminded myself, one person's betrayal doesn't erase your value. One person's selfishness doesn't define the life you can still build. I moved out shortly after. A small apartment, but mine. Quiet, peaceful, mine. And for the first time in a long time, I could breathe without weighing every word, every action, every look. Months later, I ran into her at a mutual friend's party. She looked older, tired, regretful. She tried to make conversation, apologize for the affair, apologize for the way she treated me. I nodded politely, smiled, and excused myself. Not because I hated her, not because I wanted revenge, but because my life had moved forward. I wasn't interested in reliving the betrayal, in listening to excuses, in reopening wounds that had already healed. I realized something important in that moment. Betrayal is painful, yes, but it's also liberating. It exposes the cracks in a relationship, yes, but it also exposes your own strength. You discover the boundaries you won't cross, the self-respect you won't compromise, and the life you refuse to let anyone control through lies or deceit. Her declaration of divorce, the moment I smiled and said, "That sounds good," became my turning point. It marked the day I stopped waiting for someone else to validate my worth. It marked the day I took control, the day I chose me. I didn't yell, I didn't beg, I didn't cry, I just smiled. And in that smile was clarity, freedom, and the first taste of a life rebuilt on honesty and self-respect. Years later, I still think about that night, about how simple words, a calm reaction, and a refusal to be manipulated can change everything, about how betrayal doesn't always need confrontation to be met with power. She wanted to leave. She wanted freedom. I gave her that. And I gave myself something even more valuable, the ability to walk away from a life that no longer served me, with my dignity, my peace, and my heart intact.